Welcome to our comp plan training on the Premio Pay. Gordon says, work where you want, earn what you deserve. And, you're only going to earn equal to the amount of energy that you give it, of course, right? I love this. This is all I did was screenshot Gordon's slides and then put this PowerPoint together. He says no animals were harmed. Competitors will look smaller tomorrow. Side effects may include excitement. Feelings of joy and optimism are normal. Competitors are going to say impossible. I love that. Uh, so another thing this is another one of Gordon's slides that I just love, and that is don't mess with people's rice bowl. Since our last opportunity with Gordon and Joe Morton at the helm, there hasn't been anything out there that even closely resembles what they had. A compensation plan that's fair and pays out a true 50%. One that where nothing is hidden, everything is out in the open, no trickery, and nothing changes. When it comes to the comp plan is it is what it is. It's not going to be changed. So many of these companies they start their business and then they realize that they can't survive because they're paying out too much, or they're not duplicating because they're not paying enough. And so transparency and accountability, is key when it comes to a compensation plan. Also, people who are confused don't build and don't buy. So we want to make sure that we keep things simple for our teams and make sure that people that are onboarding with us and have a vision and a dream, like my friend Keith promotes to his team. We want to make sure that they fully understand completely how to move from one rank to the next. So I really believe that this is key. Um, you know, you got to have emotion behind your vision, and if you don't have vision, you're not going to get anywhere. And this is something that Keith really tries to instill in his team. But people don't follow comp plans; people follow a feeling that they have. And believe deeply in your vision. You got to have a vision and you got to believe deeply in it. You have to fall in love with the idea that you have in your heart and in your head, and you have to move into action. You have to break it down in bite-sized pieces and work it. Learn to successfully invite. This is like I agree. This is really the key to success with your business. If you learn to invite, nothing can stop you. Nothing. People feel your heart. You must believe. If you don't believe, they're not going to believe. Ray Heron always says BLT. I love this. He says, invite people that believe, love, and trust you. So, things that stand out with our Premio Pay is weekly, monthly, and quarterly commissions, 50% payout on every CV unit, easy price points, dynamic compression, no breakage, minimal CV split, global bonus pool, minimal structural requirements. So, and these are all volume based too, these structural requirements. But another one of Gordon's, these are all Gordon's slides. I just screenshot them as he goes through the presentation, and then put together a PowerPoint for you guys. But he calls it neutral flop. Other companies out there are playing all kinds of games. There's a lot of trickery out there. They're playing with the numbers, and people don't realize it. They're bamboozled. They bamboozled their distributor base. They're not giving the CV. They're not giving people a fair commissional volume. They're a product that's $200. You get 100 CV, and then they'll pay out 30 to 38%. So they say they pay 60% or 70%. You always want to look at the CV. What is it dollar for dollar, 70% payout? I don't think so. And if it is, you better run for the hills because you're wasting your time. They're not going to live long. They're not going to last. If they're building a company that's proper and they're building something that's going to last. So with OLIABO, um, it's 100 CV for each 30-day supply of the product, and OLIABO pays 50%. Let me move this out of the way. So let me see, what do I have here? One time, 122. So if you buy the product just one time, it's 122. That would be the customer's price. Or if you just wanted to buy one 30-day supply, and the company gives 100 in commissional volume and 100 in qualifying volume. So if you're on auto ship, then the company will put 110. They'll match dollar for dollar. You'll pay 110, and they'll put 110 into the comp plan. So the just to break it down into the smallest piece, what you want to do when you look at a compensation plan and you start developing your game plan, you want to reverse engineer what you have to do. And basically the invitation is like the most important thing. If you can dial that in where the greater percentage of people you're talking to are saying yes, you're on your way. The other thing that's really important for you to understand is that really the focus is three. Um, the comp plan is basically focused on three. There are some additional requirements once you get to the top of the plan where you want to have 5 legs. And those additional two legs will allow you to earn a bigger portion of the um, global bonus pool because it's pro rata. It's based on volume, and it'll probably be based on volume 3 levels down, then maybe 6 levels down, and then maybe 8 levels down. And there'll be requirements for getting those chunks of that pool. But really focus on three. I today I had this thought. I have on my whiteboard. I have 10 people to call today. I think I'm gonna remove 5 of them and replace them with other people. So you can talk to people. When you're talking to people, think about this. You really want to have people. You really want to talk to people that have influence and credibility. And if you feel uncomfortable with that, you want to reach up to your upline. If your sponsor, if not your sponsor, maybe their sponsor or their sponsor or their sponsor. There were a lot of times where I would actually reach up to Ray in another company we were in with Joan Gordon. And even though Ray was like 11 or 12 levels above me, but if I couldn't get a hold of Bob or Sherman for a three-way or somebody in my downline that would resonate with the person, I would reach out to Ray. So that's a very powerful tool, you guys. People with influence and credibility know other people with influence and credibility. And when they ask friends to join them in a business opportunity, they're likely to say yes. It's key. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to learn how to invite again, just like I said, learn how to invite. And you want to utilize not only three-way calls, but you want to utilize all the Zoom presentations, especially the ones the company's doing. You want to use the presentation recordings. I put them up on my YouTube channel, and I'm sure the company will have a YouTube channel in the future. Um, also, uh, you know, use this as leverage. You really want to use your upline, um, your successful upline. You really want to use the tools as leverage. You want to have the leverage when you're talking to people. Uh, so again, learn to invite effectively. Learn by doing. Learn by doing. This is really important, guys. Uh, when I first started in the industry, I always sat in the back of the room, and I always relied on other people to tell the story, of course, which is what you're supposed to do. But uh, in the early days, I couldn't figure out why people weren't following me, and then later, after much inflection or a lot of reading and training, I realized that I needed to take a leadership position. I needed to claim myself as a leader, and and by doing that, then the people who I'm talking to would be more likely to follow me. So when you learn by doing, you learn leadership. And if you want to be a leader, this is the best way to do it, is just get out there and do it. Okay. You might there were times where I would get up in front of the room, start telling the story, and Robin would be so embarrassed she would walk out of the room. Yeah. But I learned the more you do it, the better you get at it. So just move into action. I think that's the hardest part for people. Put that one foot forward and step through, man. Let's make this thing happen. And take responsibility for your effectiveness and continue to improve yourself. Don't blame other people. Don't blame the tools. Don't blame the weather or anything else. If you are willing to take responsibility for your results that you're receiving in the business, now you're able to move forward because you can correct it and then move forward. A lot of times, what I would do is if somebody complained that they weren't able to get anywhere in the business, the first thing I would do back in the day when we had a paper planner, I would ask them to see their planner. I would say, "Let me see your planner." And then I would have them open it. And of course, there were no appointments in the planner. Or if they're journaling, let me see your journal. Because I use my planner. Um, I use my planner on my phone, so I don't have that. But I have my journal, and I journal everything all day long, everything that I want to remember, and everything that I need to do. Very important, intentional living. So let's get into the compensation plan. This is important for you guys to understand the compensation plan, but it's also important for you to understand how to how to rank through the compensation plan. And some of those points I mentioned earlier, it's going to help you do that. So these are sprints. These are fast start bonuses, as we called them in another life. But with OLIABO, they're sprints, and these are designed to get you up and running quickly. This is a short dash. So uh, when you enroll somebody, you're going to receive a bonus for that initial order, and it's 25%. Now you can double down, and doubling down meaning if you go on a 210 of the Prima, and you have 200 in CV, because later we're going to have Flex and our serum and our other products. 200 CV will allow you to double down and get a second level of sprint bonus or fast start bonus, which is 10%. So you'll earn, somebody purchases product, you'll earn 25%, and then the person above you is going to earn 10% of the CV. So here's the compensation plan. Let's go through it real quick. Let me see if I can get my pointer up here. So the first level requires no purchase. Wow, unbelievable. No purchase required. They can enroll and get an account, and if you sell product to someone personally that you know personally, you're going to earn 5%. The second level is a Bravo rep. It requires 100 in volume. Now, QV, that's group volume. That's not personal volume. Personal volume is right here. You can see the P personal volume, PS. So 100 in qualifying volume will get you a second level of 5%. So you'll be earning 5% on everything your personal enrollees purchase and everything their personal enrollees purchase. And then Kappa. Kappa is 1,000, 100 QV requirement, and three, personally sponsored reps. So it's all QV on qualifying. Three personally sponsored reps, three individual teams or legs at 100 in QV. They all have to have 100 in QV. And then when you accumulate 1,000 in group volume, now you're picking up the third level, which is 10%. And this can really make a big difference for people. This will quickly, if you're working this, your product will be paid for. Getting to that third level is pretty important if you'd like to get your product paid for with your commissions. Then Quinto, which is 5,000 in group volume, in your total group volume. So if you invite five people to join you or three people to join you, and they have 5,000 in total volume between them and their entire organization, that's Quinto. You have to have 100 in QV, and then three personal reps again, three legs or three individual teams, and each one of the three teams need to have 1,000 in volume, in group volume. So them and everybody in their organization. And now you're picking up five levels of pay, 5% on the first level, 5% on the second, 10 on the third, 5 on the fourth, and 5 on the fifth. And then, of course, we have streamlined compression. With streamlined compression, zeros won't count as a level. And that's something that other companies are doing right now. They tell you, oh, we have 7 levels of pay, whatever. And then all 7 levels aren't ordering. But underneath that, you have 100 levels ordering product and your volume is 100,000. You don't get paid on any of it because they don't have dynamic compression. There's no streamlined compression in that plan. And I experienced that with one of my last opportunities. It was not good. But since Joe and Gordon were not involved in the industry, we had nothing. We had no companies really offering this streamlined compression. I think there's one company up in Canada that offers it. So the next level is 20K, which is a venti, and it's 200 in qualifying volume. So you want to make sure that you're getting a 2-month supply of the product at this point. And you must have 4 personally sponsored reps, 3 of your organization's teams or legs, 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, each need to have 5,000 in group volume. And so when you do that and you have the 20,000 in group volume, you're earning now on 6 levels. So you get 5 on the first, 5 on the second, 10 on the third, 5 on the fourth, 5 on the fifth, 5 on the sixth, 5 on the seventh, 7 levels. So next level is Premio. Okay, so this is where you qualify for the global bonus pool. And this also is where you're going to qualify for your trip to Italy. Now, there'll probably be other requirements, maybe personal enrollments. I don't know. They haven't disclosed it yet, but I know that you're going to have to get to Premio. And so with Premio, again, you need a 2-month supply of product. Purchase a 2-month supply of product. You must have 5 personally sponsored reps. So what is that? That's 5 teams. 5 teams. Well, wait a minute. You only need 3 to build, right? But you need 5 to get to Premio. And what's going to end up happening is with your 4th and 5th team, their volume is going to make a big difference in the amount you get of global bonus pool because it's pro rata and it's based on your team's volume. So the greater the volume, then the greater the share of the pool. Also, the greater the volume within those first 8 levels determines your portion of the pool. And people will be earning, $100,000 a quarter on pool money that build it and build it with 5 levels or 5 legs or more. But if you just build three, and let's say me and three, and then your team duplicates me in three, and their team duplicates me in three, and their team duplicates me in three. And let's just say that ran, it never happens, but let's say it ran 8 levels or 8 generations in depth. That's 50,000 a month in commissions, just based on the unit level, not counting the global bonus pool. So 3 legs will definitely change your life and create a legacy for you and your family. The Premio Pay, again, 5 legs. You two of those teams, 2 people that you personally sponsored who build teams, they need to have 20,000 in volume. 2 with 20,000 in volume, 2 legs. 1 leg with 5,000 in volume. A total of 50,000 in volume. Now you're earning 5% on all 8 levels, except for the third level, you're going to earn the 10% on the third level with the streamlined compression. So they will continue to pay all the way up until all 50% has been paid out, which is $50 for every $100. In my previous life, when I was working with Joe and Gordon Morton, my team was earning $400,000 a month. And it's because of this streamlined compression. It's so powerful, guys. You'll see as soon as you start building, you'll see how powerful it is. So here again is the global pool. It's pro rata and it's divided amongst the leaders. And so again, the ones who have the most volume in those first 8 levels will pick up the bigger portion of the pool. And don't forget, we have our trips too. So our first trip is to Italy. I mean, I couldn't believe it that they announced that when they did. All right, so let me get this out of the way. I don't know if you guys can see it. You might have to move that little video on the top right corner. You can minimize it, just hit that dash right above the video picture and it'll get it out of the way so you can see this. This is the kappa again. This is the point in which you're earning on 3 levels. 5% on the first, 5 on the second, 10 on the third. And this shows, because visual is important. You have to be able to visualize where you're going and fall in love with the idea and know or intend to get there by doing the work, which is what? Inviting, right? So 3 people, 1,000 in volume, and they each have their 3. Then Quinto, 5,000 in group volume. 3 legs, each one at 1,000 in group volume, and now you're picking up 5 levels of pay. And then Venti, again, 20,000 in group volume. You're purchasing 2 months worth of the product, or 200 in commissional volume or personal volume. You must have a 4th person sponsored with 100 in volume in order to hit this level, Vente. And now you're earning on 7 levels. And then Premio, and Premio's 50,000 in group volume. You must have 5 personally sponsored, and the 2 that are qualifying with 100, 1 a month supply of product, and then 3 of them, 2 with 20,000 in volume and 1 with 5,000 in volume, which totals the 50. And you pick up all 8 levels of pay with the streamlined compression. So work where you want, when you want, with whoever you want, and earn what you deserve. So that's our compensation plan presentation. Let me stop the screen share.